Okay, I wanted to shoot a video about setting up a hunting bow as we get older. A few weeks ago I turned 50. The gym tells me I'm not getting weaker, but we all know none of us are the guy we were 20 years ago. And speaking about being a past archer, a little bit of background, first starting out in archery, shooting a recurve as a kid, we shot longer bows. We shot a more formalized style, like more of an Olympics type stance. And that's where I started. That's where I was, that's what we did. That's what, when you went to an archery pro shop back then, they set you up and they teach you to, stand correctly. Well, somewhere along the way, into the 80s and 90s, a lot of us got caught up in the heavy bow, bad form style shooting that was kind of really prevalent of that day. So I was caught up in that, and I was one of the guys that I don't want to say victim to, but kind of. My draw shortened up to 26 3/4, and eventually, I started letting those arrows, go sooner and sooner, and it was problematic. I remember when I first started even posting on the forums, Old Stone Bridge, replied about my shooting style was a grunt and pluck style, which I didn't even get mad at him for because it was true. So through some work with some great people like Rod Jenkins, Joel Turner, I've tried to evolve my shooting, not so much my aiming style, but my form. And I've come a long way, I feel I have. I shoot more consistently than I've ever had. In doing so, that I learned the merits of shooting a lighter bow. And I wanted to get away from those 60 to 70 pound bows that were what I was hunting with when I was in my 20s. Had to. If I wanted to get back and really get into the shot and try to get my back engaged and everything, I couldn't shoot a 70 pound recurve a lot, put it that way. It would be a struggle. So my problem is I've always wanted the extra oomph. I like that extra oomph of the heavier bows. Now, before anybody jumps all over me, I know you can kill a deer with a 35 pound bow all day, but I like the way my 60 and 70 pound recurves performed my whole life. I got great penetration. I really bad angles on big bodied animals. There's a lot to be said about the old use enough gun or use a heavy enough bow. So my whole archery journey has kind of come around in a lot of different ways, full circle. I started out with a more stylized form. I went to a more what I would call not stylized form. Now I'm trying to get to a different place. And I'm dropping weight. My buddy Ray busts my chops all the time saying I drop 2 pounds a year, and he's kind of right. This year I'll be hunting with the lightest bow that I've hunted with to date, and it's still a fairly heavy bow compared to most. It'll be 47 pounds, but progressively I've dropped 2 pounds, 3 pounds a year over the last 6 years and gotten down to a very controllable, comfortable weight for me to shoot. But here's the greatest part. I've kept the energy that I was getting out of the 60 plus pound recurves out of these lighter bows. How have I done that? I've been using super recurve technology. There's a ton of great super recurve builders out there these days. I'm a Border Archer fan. I think Border Archery is basically always in the forefront, on the leading edge. They're great people and a good family to work with, and I've grown very close to them. So again, I'm always going to put my money and my time into shooting what Border's got, just because when it comes to super recurves, because I like them. Like I said, I think they're leading the pack. I've been super fortunate that I've got to play with every variant of Hex 7 limb, from the very first one that's ever came here to a bunch of prototypes and trial pieces to, if you remember the video I shot on this is on a 19-inch CH. These are a pair of trial Hex 8 limbs. First limb I've ever felt that actually went negative. Not a ton, but as you come back, you're losing weight, which is very cool. I love this limb. It was great, but when I try a trial limb, it's not what the final limb's gonna be. And the SIDs do their tweaking and they come out with small little incremental changes as these series goes on. So I wanted to set up a hunting bow this year, lightest I've ever shot, 47 pounds. I want to set up production Hex 8s. I like a 60-inch bow for my shooting. This is my hunting bow. This was the first phenolic and carbon. Phenolic Riser CH. This is a 17-inch, 17-inch riser with medium limbs. These are the production Hex 8s. And you know, I was gonna shoot this video right after my birthday. I was getting ready for the Baltimore Bowman shoot. And I actually shot some video, and I was gonna go down there and finish the video shooting there. Got there, lots of rain, great people, but lots of rain. Ended up only shooting one course.
Boom.
And heading home in the morning, which kind of sucked, but it was great to see everybody. It was worth the drive. But my whole video was going to be me shooting the bow down there on the course. It was going to be setting up this year's hunting bow. What better thing to do than go to a 3D shoot and shoot? Well, we couldn't do that. Got down and I just didn't get any time to shoot video in the rain, and didn't work out that way. But again, this is going to be the hunting bow for this year. It's a Hex 8 series Covert Hunter. You know, I really think the SIDS sat down and they had a place they wanted to get there with their limb. And like any kind of advancement, it comes in bits and pieces. And they've done an excellent job of putting out that information. They've done an excellent job of keep pushing where they're at. And I really think they're close with the Hex 8 limb to the limb that they've always wanted to make. And I know every one or every variant gets better, but this is a limb that I'm very intrigued with. And there's a lot you can learn from shooting the same riser, same center shot, with multiple different generations of limbs. You learn from your chronograph, you learn from your spine of your arrow. And it's funny how, you know, like I said, this bow matches the power of my old 60 plus pound conventional bows at 47 pounds. Well, from the very first Hex limb there, and I think my first pair was 55 pounds, and I've slowly dropped pound, 2 pounds, down to 47. This bow is eating a spine that I was shooting on that probably the heaviest original Hex 7 limb, which is basically was 8 pounds heavier. So I'm shooting a 340, 225 up front. The bow tuned so well. Now I have a bit of an advantage. I've tuned a heck of a lot of Hex limbs. But this bow just was one of those bows that everything fell together quick. The tune came in quick. Everything felt good. You know, people talk about the post-hum vibration of a super recurve. There's a slight post-hum in almost all super recurves, but they've reduced it down that when you have the right string material on it and the bow is set up with the right weight arrow, it's not noticeable at all. This bow is super quiet. It's super dead at the sound, at the shot. It really draws super smooth. It's incredibly fast. And again, it's my way of getting old, keeping up the energy that I wanted and liked so much when I was younger. I can get that energy. I can draw longer. We all know even drawing 1.5 inches longer on a lighter bow is going to give you a better power stroke. A guy shooting 30 inches can shoot a 45-pound bow, and he's going to have more energy than a guy shooting a 60-pound bow at 26 inches. Power stroke is everything. So by lightening up, by picking up, getting deeper into my draw, these bows have helped me and kind of been a game changer for me. So all I can say is I'm going to take a couple shots so you can hear it. I wish this video would have been more about the Baltimore shoot, also shooting on the courses, but it just didn't work that way. But this is my setup this year, 47 pounds. I have all the confidence in the world. I would shoot any animal on North America with this bow, and 90% of African game with a 47-pound Covert Hunter. I believe that much in how it's, the energy it's putting out and the way it performs. Super compact, just again, you know, Border Archery leading the way. So the video will close with me shooting the bow a couple times, just so you can hear it. Awesome setup. I'm still waiting on an order from Border for a one-piece. But again, I'm just stoked about these Hex 8s. The production version is awesome. And you always say, is it going to get better the next series? I don't know how much longer he's going to keep making them better, because these are pretty damn good. Thanks. Little added side note, for those getting into the super recurves, Rod Jenkins of Safari Tough makes an awesome oversized super recurve case. We gotta show everybody Max. Come here, big boy. Oh, God, he's too big. Look at the monster. So the bows can fit in the case, either sliding the fletching in, completely strung or unstrung. Rod will make these cases for any size recurve. You just got to give them a ring. Not only has Rod Jenkins been huge in my shooting, also in supplying me with awesome cases. So Rod Jenkins Safari Tough, really high quality stuff, and he is doing stuff for the super recurve shooters. What's up, big boy? What's up, big boy? Oh, don't jump on the camera.